All right, welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm Brad, and we're going to be going over the San Jose Sharks today. And I'll be honest, I went through the roster a little bit and some of the things they were doing. I like what they're doing. I think they have a lot of opportunity, but this is for a fact a rebuilding team. I mean, you can see what we're working with already on the roster right in front of you. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. It's not much to work with, but again, it's a rebuilding team. So we're going to be going over some of the things that they did this offseason, what their roster is going to be looking like, some of the trades and the signings, and kind of what the direction is. Because when I built this roster out, which I went through once because I was like, I am not super familiar with what the Sharks are doing because they're kind of running through their roster. They're trying to figure out what players they want to keep, who is in the right age group. Like they're trading guys, they're picking up guys off waivers, crazy. And so it's just kind of they feel there's a direction and there's a way they're going, which is the rebuild, but there's so many ways you can go about it, right? You're trying to find veterans that are good for leadership. You're trying to find like middle-aged guys who are going to be there, who are going to be the veterans later when your young guys get promoted and they start being better. And then you also want to get the young guys in here without integrate them into the NHL speed, but you don't want to like discourage them by getting their basically their butts kicked the whole season. So you need to bring in good enough players as well that they show guys how to win as well. So all those different aspects is what the Sharks did this past offseason, as well as during trades and the trade deadline, moving out contracts such as the Hurdle contract, and picking up a first round pick, as well as a previous first round draftee. But again, one other issue with their situation is they don't have any spots for retaining salary anymore because they're retaining Erik Karlsson, Brent Burns, and Thomas Hurdle. So that is pose a problem where they're going to be able to maybe able to trade out some of these players, but they're not going to be able to retain any salary. So we're going to go through a couple of those players, and kind of potentially the options and who's probably going to last throughout this. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a really interesting breakdown. But first off, let's jump right into the signings that they had this past season. So going through, kind of walking back a little bit, and they re-signed a couple people. In there you go. Okay, Colin Graff right here. So they picked up Colin Graff, who is an NCAA player. I think he did super well. He usually jumps over. So Colin Graff, let's open his real quick. So he was one of the high players that was coming out of the NCAA. He wanted to be able to play in the NHL, and he wanted an opportunity. And with San Jose, he's definitely going to get more of an opportunity. He played 7 games, got 2 assists. I do want to go to his NCAA. I think he had a monster season as well. Quinnipiac University, 49 points, 34 games. You know he's going to want to get in the NHL as soon as possible. But I'm going to show you why that's potentially an issue. And as we go over and through the roster, and so you're going to see. I'll tell you right now that this is the little bit frustrating part with the San Jose Sharks is that because they don't have any retention slots, they have players the trading makes it more difficult, right? Because they can't retain salary. And so when you do that, you limit the amount of picks you can get back as well. So, and the problem is, you have Brent Burns is going to be on for I think another year. Erik Karlsson's got another 3 years. Tomas Hurdle's got it's like 5 or 6 years or something crazy like that. So you have a ton of retention, and you're like, what are we doing, guys? So that's not something you want to do as a rebuilding team, but they had all these big contracts that they had to move off of, right? They had to move off of Erik Karlsson. He was too expensive. Although, by the way, favorite defenseman, favorite player in the league right now. I got his jersey on right now. Huge fan. Brent Burns, big fan. Love him. I love that era, with him and Joe Thornton, Thomas Marlowe, Patrick Marlowe, and then Joe Pavelski. So, and then of course you try and keep that going with bringing Erik Karlsson as well. So it's an interesting position with the Red Wings, with Mike Greer's doing the GM of the San Jose Sharks, because you want them to be successful. You don't want you to go through rebuild and just tear it all down completely, but you need to be able to do this smart. And I think there's some parts of doing smart they did, and it's working out really well because they picked up Macklin Celebrini, so that's huge, getting the first overall pick. But again, it's a little packed, and I'm going to show you guys why as we go through it. So picking up Colin Graff, that's awesome. Love that. Signing Lucas Cagnani to his entry-level contract, awesome. Will Smith signed an entry-level contract. Awesome. Um, Luke Cunnin, they re-signed him at the end of the year. Justin Bailey, they re-signed him. Justin Bailey's more of an AHLer. Lucas Carlson, again, AHLer. Jimmy Shoots, AHLer. Alex Wenberg. Okay, so this is now we're getting into some of the bigger, one of the bigger signings that they did. Actually, my second favorite signing they did for actual like free agents. Alex Wenberg. I like Alex Wenberg, but I think he's when you look at his profile, I like him. I think $5 million a little. I mean, he's 29, right? So you're getting a guy who is like in that veteran stage. There probably wasn't a ton of term out there for him. He probably want to start making some, bigger dollars. Let's see what he did when he was with the. We go to his contract that he had previously, and we'll scroll down, and he was making 4.5 million. So 5 million is a little bit of an upgrade. But he signed a 2-year contract. He had 25 points in 60 games with the Seattle Kraken, a .42, and then 19 games with the Rangers, 5 points, so 0.26 points per game. I think this is an overpay. I think you need veterans, and I get that. But I think you're trying to find that balance of bringing veterans in, but also bringing young kids in. And I think if you were going to bring anyone in, you shouldn't have done it on the forward group. You should have brought it on the defense group because your defense has no rookies in it. And you're already bringing in rookies like, Will Smith. You're bringing in rookies like Macklin Celebrini. So you're bringing in 2 guys like that. And you trade for. I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, I'm going to go on my rants. It's okay. So Alex Wember, I like the veteran leadership. I think because of the number of years some of these guys are going to have left, these veteran leaderships, you're going to lose probably Luke Cunnin, you're going to lose Mikael Granlund, you're going to lose Nico Sturm, like you may resign Zetterlund, right? But you're going to lose some of these veterans. So I can see that aspect of it. It just seems a little expensive. It's all. So moving on to I think Alex Wemberg wanted to come to the West Coast, but I think he really missed living in Seattle. So I think he liked the sunshine. So Tyler Toffoli, phenomenal signing. Looking at his contract, this is a great deal. I mean, it's $60 million a year is expensive. But think about this. I'd rather get Tyler Toffoli for $6 million for 4 years than Alex Wemberg for 5 for 2 years. I mean, Tyler Toffoli is a monster player, putting up great numbers traditionally. So 0.72 with the Devils in the regular season. Yeah, and with the Winnipeg Jets, 0.61 points per game, 11 points in 18 games. So again, a great player, has put up, I think he's put up 40 goals before as well. So he's traditionally, let's find out. I'm gonna scroll down and find his stats real quick. And again, Tyler Toffoli is a monster in the NHL. So we got 34 points back in with the Calgary Flames. He scored 28 goals with the Montreal Canadiens, 24 goals with the Los Angeles Kings. I mean, he's a veteran, 30 goals with the LA Kings. So he can put up points. He can put up goals. Veteran leadership. I think this is one of those contracts. Again, those veterans you're looking for, where they can actually show the guys what winning looks like. This guy has won before. Yeah, he's won. I think he won with the Los Angeles Kings. Tyler Toffoli. I'm very sure he won with the Kings and got that Stanley Cup because he's been a monster. And again, he's highly sought after. He's traded multiple times just so that he can get just because they want his goal scoring. I think he's a great leader. He's actually moved around a lot. He's on the 7th team with the San Jose Sharks. Yes, he did win in 2014. He won the Stanley Cup with the Kings. So 10 years ago already. Oh my gosh, he was 22 when he won that. So that's amazing. Brings a little bit of that pedigree. And again, he just seems like a great guy too. So I think this is a great trade. Again, he's definitely up on the first or second line, definitely in that top 6. So Andrew Potlurski, AHL guy, trading. So they actually signed Ty Dellandrea, and this is actually from a trade. We're gonna go over the trades in a little bit. They traded for Ty Dellandrea for a 4th-round pick from the Dallas Stars. And with his situation, I mean, we'll just run through it real quickly. Ty Dellandrea was a 1st-round pick in 2019 or 2018. I think it was maybe 2018. I can't remember. I think it was. I just did the Stars video. It was 2018. Holy smokes! So he's 23 years old. He wants a real shot. And with the Dallas Stars, you have too many. They're trying to win now, right? And he was getting pushed down the lineup. And he was getting scratched for games. And he's like, I want an opportunity. It's similar with Zadina wanted last year with the Sharks. He wanted an opportunity. By the way, the Sharks are not re-signing Zadina. So, with Ty Dellandrea, he wanted a little bit of stability. So they got 2 years out of that. as well as got a little upgrade on money, $1.3 million per year. And again, he wanted more opportunity. So I think he can try and break into he's going to be staying in that middle six area. But he wanted to play with some of that elite talent as well. Again, you're getting Macklin Celebrini, you're getting Will Smith. So I think that's huge for them. I think Tyler DeLandre, I think it's a good. I think it's a win-win. It's a cheap risk, right? You're trading out like a fourth-round pick for Tyler DeLandre, a former first-round pick. That's an easy risk. That's not a big deal. So Carl Grunstrom, this is a trade. They traded out Kyle Burrows as well. I don't understand why they did this. Them being the LA Kings, because I mean this is more of an AHL play. I think Carl Grunstrom. I think he played on he played on the Los Angeles Kings. He played 50 games with them. He was traded here. Kyle Burrows. I mean, he's a player. Kyle Burrows is like he's someone, I guess. But again, I don't know why you're trading for him. I think it's more of a cap savings in this case, because you're actually the Kings are actually end up saving about $700,000 with this. Kyle Burrows is he had 8 points in 73 games last year. Carl Grunstrom had 50 or 12 points in 50 games. So I think this is more of like a savings. Hey, these guys just need different situations. Just trade them, see if it works out. The 20, Carl's 26, Kyle's 29, so maybe a little more established. But overall, you're trading a right winger for a defenseman, or defenseman for a right winger in San Jose's case. So they also signed Macklin Celebrini, first overall draft pick, as well as Sam Dickinson, who they got I think in the 20s, I believe it was. San Jose Sharks picking up a solid defenseman, huge. That's awesome. Ty Emerson, he was also, I believe, part of the trade with how are they picking him up from? I'm pretty sure he was traded. Let me see. Ty Emerson. Yeah, he was part of the Patrick Nemeth trade. They signed him for 1 year. He was just a free agent? Oh, really? Oh, that's good for him, dude. 24 years old, again, nice, little under $1 million a year. 30 games, 10 points. So he's a player. Again, he's young. Again, this is a team where they need to they just need some young bodies that can thrive and learn the game, learn how to play well, and get some ice time just so they can figure out who they are as well. Brandon Coe, they're bringing him back for another year. AHL basically. So that is the signings. And so when you're with some of these signings, it's interesting because some of these you're going to make an impact today. Some you're just trying to figure out what you got, who's going to be your long term. I mean, look what happened with Fabian Zetterlund. He was kind of not like a throw-in piece in the Devils trade, but he's actually working out to be a really solid player. Played very well, integrated really well as well. He seems to be really enjoyed as well. So we go to Zetterlund's page real quick, showing they signed him for 2 years at a 1.145. He's over half point per game, over 82, played all 82 games as well. I mean, it seems like he really is enjoying this, and as well, he's still 24, so he's a young guy. I think it's opportunity like that you need is with these players. You need to get these young guys in here so that they can see how to play properly, right? And we'll see what you got. So, moving on. Before we go on the roster, we're gonna go to the trades. We're talking about we talked about Tomas Hertl being traded for Edstrom is David Edstrom. I was thinking Ty Emerson. I mixed those up. That's what ended up happening. That's why I thought he was part of the trade. They moved out Tomas Hertl. Again, trading to Ty DeLandre for a 4th-round pick. Cheap, easy, give him a little more opportunity. One interesting trade they did is they traded out Ozzy Weisblatt which was their 2020 30th overall pick. Who, by the way, I watched this. I thought it was adorable. Ozzy Weisblatt's mother is deaf, so what the GM at the time did was Doug Wilson. At the time, he did OZZY on sign language. If you're on YouTube, you just saw me do it, and just show that he was getting picked 30th overall, so his mother couldn't hear or see that he was getting picked. So I thought that was adorable as well. It's interesting because Ozzy Weisblatt, he has 1 more year left on his ELC. He played okay, but he was a 1st-round pick, so you wanted to play better, I'd say, for sure. In the AHL, playing with the Barracuda, he had 15 points in 45 games. In 22-23 and 23-24, he only had 11 points at 34 games. So not really breaking out the way you'd want as a first rounder, right? And then he got traded, moved to the Milwaukee Admirals. 16 games, got 6 points. And so you're like, I don't know if he's not working out as well, or maybe he's a change of scenery. But they ended up trading to the National Predators for Igor Ansionov, and he does not have a contract currently. So they traded for a guy's rights. He was a second rounder in 2019. So if you look up his stats, he did super well. You're looking at when you go into so we're just talking about just this past year with the Milwaukee Admirals, almost a point per game, 27 goals, 27 assists in 56 games for 54 points. Also put up 60 penalty minutes, not too shabby. So, and with the Preds only played 2 games this past year. So really, like, either he's a really good, I mean, he's about to break out. I think so. This is a guy who, if you get an opportunity to call him up or you end up trading a guy out, this is someone you can call up for sure. And one of the things that we're going to be doing with him is if he is, we're going to have to re-sign to a contract when we go to the roster. So I don't know if he'll be able to. I think he should be able to qualify through waivers. If not, then they'll have to sign him to a contract and hopefully hold him up and try to end up moving someone out as well. So, so now that we're halfway through the video, we're going to, before we do the lines, we're going to go into a quick break, do a couple of ad reads, kind of get the bills paid, and we'll jump back in this hot second. Appreciate it. See you in a bit. And let's go into BetterHelp. Talking about BetterHelp today. This episode is actually brought to you by BetterHelp. So going over a couple things. BetterHelp, if you have considered therapy, it's something that I've done. It's something that I went through with a crisis in my time. I had issues that I wanted to work through, and it's something that you don't need a crisis to be able to do this. You don't need some major trauma. You don't be like, oh my God, I have to work through this one thing. It did help me in this one case, but you can do it for maintenance. I've done it for maintenance as well on, relationships and just trying to figure out what it's going through your head and what maybe you need to process. Talking about what is kind of going on the list. It feels like sometimes, even for myself where I feel like I have so many things in my head and it's like you want to write everything down. Well, the way this happens is you get someone to help organize this with you, right? Someone who you can meet with at any time or meet at your convenience. You can change therapists at any time. It can just, because you want to take off some of that stress of your life. Life's hard. Life's, it's not easy, but it's something that we're all going through. And you just need someone to help normalize your experiences. So, like I said, I found a ton of benefits. So if you're thinking about giving therapy or thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN. And then moving on, we have DraftKings as well. So DraftKings, they actually great sponsor. This is it's exciting because you can bet the action on the ice with DraftKings. Now I understand it is not currently hockey season, but if you jump onto their sportsbook, you can be betting on baseball. You can be doing any of the summer league with the NBA. You can be doing any of the soccer as well. So there's a ton of different things right now. As also the WNBA is also going on, so you can bet on those. So there's like a lot of different leagues as well. Even though it's summer, I know we're a hockey-based channel and everything, but again, going with DraftKings it should be your number one sports book, because right now, if you download the app and you use code THPN, new customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's the code THPN on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sporting bet partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. And in New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling, and call 888-789-7777 or visit cpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of the Boo Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus. plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions. And we are back. So we got the sportsbook up and everything, but we're gonna jump into the GM mode. So again, I did walk through this at one point already myself. I just said, okay, I didn't love the lines, and I wanted to figure out my logic on what I did, and I want to walk you through what I was thinking. So first off, we have to sign these RFAs. So we have a couple guys that we are signing. Again, we're not bringing back Zadina. We're not bringing back Hoffman. So this is my thought process. This guy, Etu Manakibi, did not play amazing. I don't know if he is. I don't even think he is available to be waived. He's 25 years old. He played in the AHL last year, I believe. Pretty sure. I mean, it's not a huge priority. Yeah, he played in the AHL and the ECHL. So to me, he's not a priority. He's not. We're not going to sign him. Okay. Igor Ansinov. Actually, can Henry Thorne probably can't go through waivers, can he? Is he too young? He's 23. He might be able to go through waivers. Anywho, so I want to tell you what I'm thinking. So Thomas. I'm thinking Hurdle at this point. Thomas Borlo had 41 points in 27 games. So didn't play a ton, played mostly in the AHL last year. So again, he's not proven fully at this point. But I think he played well. I mean, you're looking at a guy that did, again, 11 points, 27 games. So he's under half point per game, but you want to see more. He had 25 points in 35 games with the AHL. Again, he's still young, 22 years old, so he might end up working out well. But I think what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up taking him and we'll sign him. I think he hasn't fully proven himself as a full-time NHLer either, right? So I think what you're going to end up doing is you want a little term. So we're going to give him $2 million over 2 years. I think that's fair. It's probably a little pricey, but I'm just kind of giving I'd rather give him a little bit more money than less because I don't want us to be over optimistic as Sharks fans. So Henry Thrun, your defense is starting to look a little thin. So we go to our defense right here. I mean, they have a ton of defensemen. You can see this left side defenseman right here. So with that, I think you're gonna want to try and fill in this defense eventually. But Henry Thrun still young enough that you might as well use him and keep integrating and see what you have with him. Again, and when you go to these, you're gonna have Ty Emerson, you're gonna have Jan Ruda gone after this past year, and you got Vlasic. You might end up buying him out next year. Matt Benning, he's stability. Jake Wallman, who you just picked up, Mario Ferraro, and we did not go through trades. I just realized. So let's jump over to trades before we go to the roster. My goodness, that's like if we're veering off and not keeping the schedule. I was like, these San Jose Sharks need to be a little crazy. So, but again, we talked about the Ozzy Weisblatt trade was not panning out, and they traded for Igor and Fanasev. Also, they traded with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not a huge deal, just some trade some picks. They also traded with the Red Wings, taking on Jake Wallman and a second-round pick for future consideration. So nothing. So just San Jose Sharks picking up Jake Wallman, who I really thought he was going to be on the team for the Red Wings this year. They freed up his cap hit, which has 2 years left on $3.4 million. So $6.8 million for a second-round pick. I think the Red Wings did well to offload the amount of money that he was due. But I thought I think he's really good. I think San Jose's going to love him. He's known for the gritty right now. 0.33 points per game, 21 points, 63 games. He was playing some of the toughest minutes in Detroit. I'm honestly surprised they had to give him a pick. I would have thought they wouldn't had to because I thought he played really well. He played some of the hardest minutes along with Moritz Seider. And so I don't understand why they did that. So it's interesting, but they have him now. San Jose Sharks fans are going to love him. He's so much fun. He's a great interview. He's a great guy. It seems like when I've seen from all the videos, he's got a funny TikTok as well about him, a guy dancing. He gets bumped with the cereal. Go check out his TikTok. It's very funny as well. So also acquiring a second-round pick by moving down 3 picks with the Buffalo Sabres as well. We talked about the Grundstrom and Burrows trade as well. More so, which I think it's just the LA Kings wanting to save a little money and trading some picks with the New Jersey Devils. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Moving back on to RFAs that we need to sign. Going over here, so we're going to drop down. Henry Theron, again, your young guy, I think it's similar. I think we're giving him $1.5 million for 2 years. Again, we're just giving these younger guys a little bit of money just to kind of hold them off right now. And I think it just, again, you're trying to figure out what you have. You have you're wanting to integrate these young guys. You want to keep them on the roster. You have some veterans you're going to be moving out at the end of the year or two. So Igor Antonov, he is not established yet. He hardly played, so we are giving him, let's give him $800,000. We'll give, okay, we're going to go high. Actually, we're going to go high. We're going to go $1 million. We're going to go $1 million for 1 year because we got to see what we got for him. And if he's great, awesome. If not, no big deal. So, already a huge issue. We have too many guys on the roster. Okay? Let's find out what to do. So, let's look at these forward groups. So, we got to figure out who's going to play on the top. And again, this is how it came. Don't lose your stuff on me. We're going to go through this. We're going to break this down, okay? So, someone who I think can go down, let's see. I think Thomas Bordelot, I think he still can go down and play in the HL. And I wouldn't mind that because of how much room is being taken up by all the other players. So, I'm going to say we're going to end up sending him down. I'm telling you, I'm not happy about it, but I think he needs to be sent down because he's waiver eligible, and I think he's pretty sure he's waiver eligible. And if not, we will bring him up, but I'm very sure he's waiver eligible. Because the thing is, the only other waiver eligible guys on this forward group is going to be Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini. I'm telling you, you're not going to send them down. Maybe later in the year, but they're gonna start day one, in my opinion. So we have Igor Antonov. Again, we're still a little over on guys. We have 24 guys. And this is where I'm going to tell you my anticipations of what's going to happen. I think they're going to trade someone. They're going to look at all these forwards. You have 15 forwards right now. I mean, you picked up Goudreau, right, on waivers. You signed Toffoli. You signed, you traded for Ty Dellandrea. So, and maybe they end up sending this guy out. I think they keep him because you traded out a first-round pick in Ozzy Weisblatt. So I don't know why you wouldn't keep him. You just traded for him. So going with the forward group, again, I think they trade someone. I don't think it's Mikhail Granlund. Maybe it's Nico Sturm. Maybe it's Klim Kostin. But again, this is the issue with the San Jose Sharks and having no retention spots is that you can't just like it would be great because Mikhail Granlund played phenomenally last year. If you look at his stats from last year, he played so well. Again, he was expensive for $5 million. In 69 games, he had 60 points, a .87, phenomenal. I mean, he's older, 32, but imagine you get him for 1 year, and then you get Mikhail Granlund for $2.5 million. That would be huge on your second, middle six. I think it'd be great, but again, you can't retain, so you're gonna get less for him. I'm frustrated. But anyways, so with this, you're not going to trade Couture. Wenberg, you just signed. Nico Sturm, you're not going to. So we got to work with something here. Again, Carl Grundstrom may be the guy that you send down, maybe. I don't know. Maybe, again, Clint Costin. You just picked up Tyler Landry. Why would you trade him? Anywho, this is kind of where I'm at. So a little bit frustrated. But anyways, Logan Couture is going to be your top line center. He was injured last year, but as long as he stays healthy, he should start at the start of the year. So we have William Eklund and Zetterlund. In my opinion, you brought in young kids to play them. So in my opinion, Will Smith is going to center your second line, and then we're going to put Celebrini on the first line with Logan Couture. And the reason I'm doing this, actually, let's build this out, and I'll explain actually what my thought process of what I'm doing here. So, and then your center depth is going to be Couture, Smith, Wenberg, Sturm. Okay, cool, great. Tyler Landry wants a little bit more of a role. I think you move him up, and then you move Mikhail Granlund to the left over here because he played super well. Goudreau is third line, Wenberg, Dellandrea, right? Okay, well now we have Klim Kostin, Sturm, Kunin. I think you may potentially waive Kunin, honestly. It's a little, again, you're a little too busy over here. I think there's a trade happening. I almost guarantee it, honestly. It just makes sense. Trade out a roster player with a prospect and get like a better player back. No, you can't get a better player back. You have to trade out two guys for that. Why'd they do this? Honestly, guys, unless they don't keep one of their defensemen and they run 6 defensemen, but that's stupid as well. Why would you have 3 guys on your roster that are forwards? So, anywho, what about Carl? Can Carl go down? Well, Carl can't go down. He's too old. 26 years old, 12 points for 50 games. But they did like him. So did he play at all in the AHL last year? In the 23-24, he did play in the AHL last year. So that may be an option right there. They may waive him to go down. I think that I'm going to do that actually. I'm sending him down. It's just makes it so much easier. You keep Anisi and Afanasiev up. Afanasiev. There you go. Keep him up. Okay. Zetterlund played well. I think we want him up there as well. Goudreau can play with play on the middle. Let's put him on the Goudreau. Come on. What you doing over there? So I think you got Eklund, Couture, Celebrini. I'm happy with this. You get two young guys up at the top with your super veteran guy. Problem is they're all left wingers, or they're all left-handed. This is why I switched to him. Okay, so I'm gonna swap Will Smith with Celebrini because of the handedness, only because of handedness. So you might be able to put Ty Dellandrea up. No, nope. So this is my thought process. I don't want to put Will Smith and Celebrini on the same line because they're both first-year rookies. But you're not Celebrini. You're not. If he starts to slip a little bit, you can drop him down to the third line. But I want to start him off on second line, see how he handles it. If he handles it and steps up, that's amazing. If not, you can always move him down. Then I think Eklund has already played well. He played a ton of games last year, so I think he's not a rookie. So you kind of already has a little bit established at the pace of the game and everything. You got Couture, veteran. Will Smith, first year in the NHL. Great, awesome. Mikael Granlund played phenomenal. You have Celebrini centering that. Again, you can move out. If you need to move Celebrini to the wing, you can as well. And Tyler Toffoli. So you can move out. You can do like Mikael Granlund in the center, or you can do Wenberg up in center as well, and move Granlund down. I mean, there's more options here. Actually, I like that better. I think. Yeah, I do like that better. So and then you got good handedness as well. Again, if you need Tyler Toffoli to take an off or the opposite side for Alex Wenberg, you can do that as well. I like that a lot. Okay, Fabian Zetterlund, good. Granlund, good. Ty Dellandrea, good. I like that a lot. Barclay Goodrow, back in, by the way, claimed off of waivers from the New York Rangers. Back in San Jose. Supposedly he had him on the no trade list, but it's not technically a trade if you get picked up off of waivers. So, Nico Sturm, Luke Cunnin, and then you rotate Klim Kostin and Igor Afanasiev. So, I mean, again, some of these guys, you have your depth. You have Zetterlund, Granlund, Cunnin, Sturm, Kostin, Afanasiev, all on 1 year contract. So you get some RFAs here. You probably want to see what they look like. So you probably you're not going to scratch Barclay Goodrow. Maybe you do something like this. There's a ton of things you can move around. You keep flipping these guys in and out, Klim Kostin and Afanasiev. I think something like this makes sense. I'm just going to do this just to make it simple because you're going to play a little bit. Maybe you play the older guys because the RFAs maybe haven't earned a spot yet. Maybe. I think this makes sense. So if you're listening right now, you on the first line, you have Eklund, Couture, Smith. Okay, because you got young guy, rookie, younger guy, but has some established NHL time, and veteran Couture. You have Celebrini, put him on the wing, maybe with Wenberg and Tyler Toffoli. Actually, you know what? I'm switching this again. I'm putting Granlund on the center, and with Celebrini, they can keep swapping them back and forth. Something like this. That makes a lot more sense because Granlund can actually produce. Wenberg's more of a defensive guy, so that makes more sense to put him on the third line. So you have Granlund on your second line with Celebrini and Tyler Toffoli. Awesome veteran leaders, guys. That you guys, Celebrini can learn how to put up points. Let me rephrase. Celebrini can learn to put up more points. Then you have Zetterlund on the second line with Wenberg and Ty Dellandrea, new pickup. Nice. Goudreau on the bottom line with Nico Sturm and Luke Cunnin. And then you have your extras as Afanasiev and Klim Kostin. Okay, moving on to the defense over here. And now we have 23 guys in the roster, so that's huge. Okay, so we have Mario Ferraro, who was talked about in potential trade rumors. He may be a guy that goes out, where they can the Sharks can move him out, get back like a second round pick, and maybe like a prospect or a roster player. A bad contract, something along those lines. I think I like that. Mario Ferraro, Ty Emerson, Jan Ruda, and Mark Edward Vosk on the right side. Henry Thrawn, Jake Wallman. This is good. Matt Benning could probably move up somewhere with maybe you rotate him with Ty Emerson, because Ty Emerson has not had a ton of time in the NHL. So maybe you swap them up here. Moving Jan Ruda as well. Again, Jan Ruda can be. I think he had a really good year last year, Jan Ruda. And I think he may be a trade target as well, which I think would be good for him. He did okay, 19 points in 69 games. Nothing to write home about. But I mean, something like this for your defense core kind of makes sense. I mean, you get Jake Wallman you picked up. I think he's going to be a great guy for. He might be a good protector for Vlasic, honestly. How did Vlasic do last year? Because I know Vlasic's not like a huge point getter. 12 points in 57 games. So again, not a huge point getter. But something along those lines. Again, I think Vlasic ended up being bought out last year. He's just older. He honestly could be bought out this year, but if you look at the reason I don't think he's getting bought out this year. So if we go to his page again, I did look at the buyout. I said, okay, let's look at the buyout just to see what it would look like. Because to me, it's a little brutal, honestly. So we're going down here. We could see what ends up happening. So he has 2 years left on his contract at $7 million. Because he is over the age of 27, there's a buyout multiplier. Since he's above the age, it's above the age of 27. So they end up having to pay for 2/3 of his contract against the cap hit. So you have $7 million this year, $7 million next year in cap hit. But the real dollars have to get distributed differently, right? Because you have a total salary of $7 million this year and $5.5 million next year. So it ends up being a $3 million cap hit, $3.83 million cap hit, which essentially just is exactly what the cap hit is or the cap increase on the salary. Then next year it's $4.8 million. So you say maybe if the cap goes up $4 million that following year, you're only getting $3.5 million essentially. So and then it pills out to 1.3 and 1.3. But to me, it doesn't really make sense, and unless you're trying to bring up someone or you're trying to make a decent trade. And I don't think they have a buyout window anyway, so it doesn't make sense to buy him out. So I think this is how it ends up going. And then you have Blackwood and Vanacek. Blackwood end up having a little bit better season than Vanacek. 0.89, 3.18 with the Devils in 32 games. I think he ended up getting injured near the end of it. And that's ended up causing a little bit of an issue with him. And then we go to Mackenzie Blackwood, who did play last year with the San Jose Sharks. Also, by the way, another Devils goalie, by the way. 0.899. Better save percentage, worse goals against, because Sharks were worse, and 44 games. So he's expected to return. He had some issues near the end with some injuries. I think they're just going to tandem it. They moved on from Devin Cooley. The Sharks ended up moving on from Devin Cooley. They have Krona, they have Romanov, so some younger guys that end up maybe taking a spot next year. Again, they're UFA goalies, so I imagine if they play well, they can flip them and take back another goalie contract or something like that. So now, ideally, I do want to get Colin Graf in here somewhere, but again, I think you have to move a guy. Who are you going to move? You got to move Luke Cunnin. You got to move a right side guy. Maybe Will Smith moves to the left, or you move in the center. I mean, it kind of varies on what the Sharks' plan is, and so we will see what the Sharks' plan is. I don't know. If you know, let me know. But this is kind of my idea breakdown. Again, going over real quick from top to bottom of the roster, we have William Eklund on the first line with Couture and Will Smith. Mikael Granlund with Celebrini and Tyler Toffoli. Zetterlund with Wenberg and Dellandrea. Gaudreau with Sturm and Cunnin with Kostin and Afanasiev as the scratches. Then you have Mario Ferraro with Matt Benning on the top line. Jake Wallman and Jan Ruda. Again, Tyler Emerson is the extra, and Henry Thuron as well as Mark Edward Vlasic on that third line. Again, probably being buying out Mark Edward Vlasic next year. Goalies Mackenzie Blackwood with Vitek Vanacek. They're going to tandem it, right? So again, it's another rebuilding year. Again, you're going to maybe try and trade out some of the assets you can. Again, they already kind of moved out a lot of the assets they could. Maybe they move Couture if he wants to move, but I don't think there's a plan to it. But the huge thing they want to do is they want to utilize that cap space. So if you can trade out again, if you can get a third party deal where you can move out I don't know, like a Goudreau, and you get retain half. Though like Sharks can't retain half. Never mind. Actually, let me look at the 1 second for the Sharks. I think it's Erik Karlsson, Brent Burns, yeah, and Hurdle. I wonder how long they haven't. Okay, so I was able to figure it out. I'm newer to using Puckpedia. We used to use Cap Friendly before, but looking at here, they have some retained salary, retained contracts right here. As you can see, retained salary remaining. This upcoming year, they still have to cover the cost of Brent Burns, Erik Karlsson, and Tomas Hurdle. Moving on to next year, though, they'll only have to do Karlsson and Hurdle for the next 2 years after that. And then on the third year, they'll only have Hurdle. Holy smokes, they're going to have Hurdle for so long. Holy smokes. Oh, my goodness. That's so funny. I mean, it's funny and not funny at the same time, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, it's funny and not funny, right? So, anywho, we'll see what ends up happening with that. So, anyways, I think this is going to be an interesting year. Again, you're going to have a team that just rebuilding. It's no big deal. Again, they want to get some young guys in here, see what they have, try the prospects out. But again, you're slowly graduating these guys, and I'm glad they're doing that. Again, probably signed one too many depth guys. Again, I think in Alex Wenberg maybe a little bit too high, too much like not need. I just say not needed. I just don't like the contract. I don't think he's going to produce the way you want him to, and he didn't perform amazingly in with the Rangers as much as you would think that he would have. So, anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe. I love you, and thanks for checking in. Appreciate it. See ya.